All right, guys, let's talk about the must-have items for our guests. Number one on the list is helmets. Here we have the Bell 6er helmet. I expect you guys to go through all of your helmets they have on the sales floor. All the helmets have these hang tags that actually clearly state what the features and the benefits are for each helmet. So now, guys, let's talk about the benefits. So number one benefit is peace of mind. Now you can go out there, have a ride, and not worry about hurting yourself, staying well protected. Number two is the helmet is going to fit comfortably, so you're going to be out there having a good time, feeling good about yourself. Number three, it's going to keep you nice and dry. Again, it's going to be super comfortable, and ultimately it'll allow you to finish your ride, go out there, enjoy a beer, and just go out there and have a great time. All right, guys, so let's talk about the second item on the must-have list for our guests, and that would be shorts. Here we have my favorite pair of shorts, which is the Fox Sergeant short, and let's go over some of the key features and some of the key benefits. So first off, the features. Number one, we have a nice, comfortable chamois for our guest. Number two, we do have a removable liner. And number three, we're going to have these deep pockets that are either going to be Velcroed or zippered. All right, guys, now let's talk about the third item on our must-have list for our guests, and that would be gloves. Benefits of having a long finger glove is that it protects your hands in case, your fingers in case you actually crash and fall. Also helps whenever you're changing out a tube or having to work on your bike, fix that chain, keeps your hands from getting all greasy and gunky. The extra padded double stitch at the palm makes it so that your hand doesn't tire as much. It's a lot more comfortable, especially resting your hand on the grip for a couple hours can really upset that ulnar nerve, so that helps with taking pressure off of there. The Velcro strap here makes sure that the glove stays in place and isn't moving around on you, especially when you're hitting some sweet jumps or anything of the like. And lastly, you have these little grippers here on your index and middle finger, and what those do is they allow you to have a no-slip grip on your brake lever when you're coming down, especially when you're doing that 1 or 2 finger braking technique over some of the switchbacks that we have out here. But also added benefit is when you get to the top of the climb, if you want to pull out your iPhone and take a couple pics, you can do so without having to take your gloves off. All right, guys, now let's talk about jerseys. Everybody's got to have a jersey. Non-negotiable. Not only do they look cool, but there's a lot of super cool benefits and some really good features on them. So now let's talk about some of the benefits. So the moisture wicking material will keep it so that you're nice and cool on the way up, so your sweat is being wicked away, it's getting dried off, but also on the downhill, once you start coming downhill, because there isn't all that moisture stuck onto the jersey, stuck onto your body, you're not going to be super cold. So it is going to regulate your body temperature so that you're nice and comfortable throughout your whole ride. The zipper pockets make it so that any items that you put in there, whether it's snacks, whether it's an MP3 player, or whatever you're stashing in there, doesn't fall out during your ride, especially if you're going up to Big Bear, coming down Miracle Mile, and you're going through all those sweet jumps. Keeps everything in place. And lastly, they look super rad. I mean, all these jerseys look super cool. You definitely want to look good out there. You want people to compliment not only your bike, but yourself as well. And this allows you to do that. So go out there, have some fun, and wear a jersey. All right, guys, now let's talk about number 5 on the list, which is shoes. Here we have one of our top selling shoes, which is the 510 Freerider. So let me tell you a little bit more about having a stiffer sole on not just a Freerider 510 shoe, but on any cycling shoe. The reason for a stiffer sole is so that our feet stays in one spot. So when we walk, guys, our feet tend to go from heel to toe as we walk, and there's a lot of flex in our normal everyday shoes. On a cycling shoe, though, it's going to be a much stiffer sole. And that's because on a bike, we're not walking. On a bike, it's actually very unnatural position for our feet to be in. We're going to be using the box of our feet right here is what's going to make the most contact with the pedal. So we need something that's going to be stiff to support our heel. Otherwise, our feet would be bending the wrong ways as we put pressure on the pedals, which really stretches out and makes it so that it's very uncomfortable for our tendons, our muscle structure, our bone structure, and our feet, which at the end of the ride, if you're not wearing a nice and stiff sole, will make it so you have some shin splint, pain walking, your feet are going to hurt and ache, and we definitely don't want that. Some of the other benefits that you're going to get from the shoe is going to be that sticky stealth rubber. And what the sticky stealth rubber does is it allows the shoe to stick to the pedal with much more grip and keeps your feet in place, so that when you're coming off some jumps, if you're going over through some rock gardens, your feet aren't sliding off and that pedal's not coming back around and hitting the back of your leg or busting open your knee. We definitely don't want that. Another key benefit of a cycling shoe is going to be all this mesh, all that ventilation. So all that ventilation does is let air in. Again, try to dry out as much of the moisture in there, because we don't want any bacteria or any of that nastiness growing in there. But also it's going to keep your feet nice and cool, nice and dry, which is going to make for a much more comfortable experience.